Welcome to the Farm Show. This week we're visiting with Roger Winter on a very fine collection of John Deere machinery, and that's what he's going to show us today. He's got tractors in the shed which have been fully restored. Besides farming, Roger has been in the masonry business for many years. You're retired from that now.
Well, semi, put it that way. 45, I had my own business in the masonry, plus running the farm and doing some collecting of old machinery.
The house is a beautiful display of masonry work. That looks fabulous. And well, I wanted you to show us some specific items. Okay, now this plow Roger was saying he bought out in North Dakota. It was grown in a weed patch somewhere. What was the story on getting this put together?
Well, when I was out there and somebody hauled it back for me because I had the one bottom sulky, so I was looking for a two bottom sulky plow, which took 4 horses to pull this, and if you had hit a rock or something, you flew off, and then
maybe there should be a seat belt on here.
Yeah, they never worried about seat belts then, I guess. Then if they plowed the lighter ground, and this was a digger. It's the type of digger they used back then to scratch and level their ground. This is a potato planter. So this farmer, if he was going to do plowing and scratching, he planted potatoes, and then in the fall, and that's a potato digger. And what's all horse pulling items, and what's unique about these two belong to my grandpa. So he farmed with these. Both of my grandpas were farmers. But I have 3 items from his farm.
Hey Roger, here we've got a sycamore, really nice condition. This would have been pulled by 2 horses?
Yeah, and it's a number 4 John Deere. It was one of the last ones made before they went to the number 5s for the tractors.
Okay, the 5 would have been a tractor version of the same machine?
Yeah, pretty much. Except for the steel wheels.
Okay.
You know, then that, the number 5 was a big seller for John Deere.
And this would cut out, looks like maybe
that's about 5 footer, yes.
And it would this part would drop down and wheel driven.
Wheel driven. And they sat here and then they drove the horses and cut the hay.
This wouldn't have been for cutting grain. This would have been
just for hay.
For hay. Okay. Well, let's move on and take a look at another item. Okay, Roger. Now we've got a couple of plows, and these are a little different to me. What have we got here?
Well, nowadays they have the big rippers, and this was a soil saver, they called it, where they went to rip in the bogs or in the swamps or hard pans in any field. And this thing has never been used, and it's in real good shape. One spike, and that's what rips the ground. And they went so many feet, like they do now on the big machines. They're 2 feet apart, but this one would be pulled by a tractor.
Okay, this was a.
But it's never.
How'd you get one that's never been used?
Well, I saw it on an auction, and this came from Wahoo, Nebraska, and I called the auctioneer and bidding on it till I owned it.
Now your collection of machinery, most auction, or where do you get this stuff?
Yeah, on the auctions were mainly, and there's a couple items some guys had given to me, but it was by purchase through auctions. Other than 3 pieces here are from my grandpa.
This other plow is a different one that I had never seen one like this before. It's a 2-sided deal. How does that work?
This is called Hillside John Deere plow. It's a 1939 model, so anybody in the hills that plowed one way, they'd go to the end, and then when they turned around, they'd lift either lever here, and they'd turn around and come back. And they'd make a U-turn and flip the other down, and then go back. That's how they plowed the hillsides. Otherwise, if they'd used a regular plow, they'd be plowing down, and then when they came around, they'd be plowing up. So this is called a Hillside plow, a 1939 model.
This one's
I just purchased this one here this spring.
Oh, this is the A new one.
Yeah, new one for the collection, yes.
You've got a tractor style hitch on there. Could have this been pulled with horses also?
Yes,
Or-
that's what it was. That's where you had the seat, and
Oh, the
there's
seat,
where
yeah.
you run with the feet, and you run the handles here. But I think the guy that had this used it probably for ditching. If he had them both down, he could ditch in a level.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would work.
That would work for that, but it was designed to be a hillside plow.
Well, Roger, this is the steel wheel tractor that you told me that you drove onto this piece of cement. But
Yeah.
today it won't start, right?
No, right.
It's been sitting. How long's it been sitting here?
Well, it probably was sitting over there first. Probably been out here 10 or 12 years. So this is a little more modern than horse-drawn stuff that we've been looking at. But this 37 model A John Deere steel on the front.
Okay.
And it's called a long frame. They used to make a short frame and a long frame B. And that's what this, and that would pull a two-bottom plow that we have here hooked behind. And with make this a decent park, each bunch of these our machinery here is put on cement to keep the grass. And
Very nice display you've got.
yeah.
And yes, some older antique plows, but this is a bit newer, this one. We're now standing in front of a mural that Roger built. He had the brick custom made, and this to me brings together the two things that have been his work for his life: the masonry work and the interest in John Deere's. So Roger, tell us a little about how you got this thing put together.
Well, I did some brick murals in my career as we were doing masonry work, and I thought one day that, hey, why don't I do one for myself? So I thought, well, I'll do it of a tractor, and our most famous tractor was a 730 John Deere. And we sent a picture to the brick company in Endicott, Nebraska, Fairbury Brick Company, and artists down there drew it on the paper and sent it back and forth, and 13 months later, this is what we got out of it. We did, wife and I, Sharon, we drove down there and looked and we approved it, and then they had to take it apart, air it out, and then bake it, run it through the kiln, and sent it up here in 2 pallets, and then I put it together.
You
just
did
like
the
laying
assembly.
brick. I did the assembly, just like an assembly line.
This looks great.
So this is, and anybody around the country, we live north of Richwood, east of Callaway on 14, and I put it out here to people to stop and look at. This is part of what I've done for 45 years, plus farming, and this is the replica of the tractor that we farmed with, and we still have that tractor.
Well, you're welcome to come and see Winter Park, Highway 14 north of Callaway. Thanks for watching the TV3 Farm Show. We'll see you next week.